Right, guys, obviously we've got Charlie and Danielle here now. We're looking to do basically once a week, obviously just introducing the team. So, Charlie, tell me a little bit about your job role and what you do.
Right, so obviously you know my name's Charlie. I'm the marketing manager and I do the photos, fly the drone. Chief drone flyer is what some people call me.
Should we tell you the story about what happened with the last drone?
I'd rather not, actually. I don't want it to be publicised.
No, let's talk about it.
Are we going to go into that?
Yes, we're definitely going into it. Break the ice.
Do you want to hold context of the day, what the stormy day was like?
Absolutely not. I want to know what happened.
I was finishing up in Wharton. I think it was Wharton. Yeah. It was a house that you're very familiar with, I think.
Yeah, it's Marlison,
yeah. I'd finished... Pond. Yeah, there was a pond.
And there was a tree.
I'd finished up everything, done all the drone shots. I was going to do a nice panning shot.
You're taking a real big picture of yourself here. Can you just say what happened in short, brief context?
Did you crash the drone?
I crashed the drone into a tree and it went straight into the pond.
Yeah, anyway.
And you were not happy with that.
Danielle, tell me a bit about you.
What do you want to know?
Job role?
I'm a mortgage and protection advisor.
How did you get into it?
Well, started off as a sales neg when I was 17.
Where at?
Birch Redwoods.
Okay.
And then I left, came back, did my exams, and here I
am. How did you get into the industry? Obviously a different, department, obviously marketing. How did you fall into it? What happened?
How did I fall into real estate industry?
No, I think the marketing side, and obviously marketing side. Of what
Before I joined, I was in another marketing role just for an interior design company in Warsaw. So I've had experience there doing that, and I've been doing my own stuff really for my own photography business. But I've just always been into it. I've just loved watching social media and getting into it. So I've sort of had that language in my brain already. If that makes sense.
How did it come about? Obviously with us, obviously with Wilkins. What made you kind of come across?
You've actually not heard the story. I was with Alex in the hospital bed because both Maeve and Alex she'd just been given birth to Maeve.
I thought you meant Alex from next door then. I was like, what?
I was in a hospital bed with Alex and I just lost my job. I just resigned just because I was being treated like crap.
Yeah.
And I hadn't had a job for a while, so it was just lucky, right there and then on Indeed. I saw the job, applied for it. Literally, you called me through about a couple of days later, pretty much straight away, and it just all fell into place, really.
Dan, how have you found the industry since going from, I suppose, obviously transitioning from estate agency to mortgages? How have you found, obviously, the transition? Do you prefer it? What makes it different?
I definitely prefer it. I feel like there's always a house for somebody to want to buy. I do definitely prefer it than sales negs, being a sales neg. 100%.
What would be the best bit of advice you'd give to your younger self when starting out?
I don't want to be cringe and be like, keep going.
My dad used to say to me when I was playing football, get stuck in.
Get stuck in.
Just get stuck in. That's
Which
what
is, I suppose,
I think it's a good
do you know what?
life advice, just get stuck in.
Best bit of advice, obviously, when growing up, and I'll use it to your younger self, and I'll use Emma as a perfect example. He came into the business at 16, and he was exactly that, get stuck in. Like, sounds cringy.
You're going to fall over and
you're going to fail.
As
long as obviously you just love mistakes. But like Emma would literally, he came in, he didn't know the business, he was just a Saturday boy at the time. Like the phones rang, bang, he answered it. He didn't know what he was doing or what he was saying.
I think you've got to want it.
Yeah.
You've definitely got to want it.
Yeah, and you've got to obviously enjoy what you're doing as well. And if you're not enjoying it, then there's no point doing it. No. Good question about obviously with the market. Obviously, in the mortgage market has changed incredibly. How do you kind of keep on top of obviously the industry when it changes so much?
I think you've just got to be really aware of like what's going on in the world, and just keeping up to date with it. Like, I know it sounds really boring, but like watch the news.
To a degree.
To a degree, yeah.
Because there's a lot of crap on there as well.
I think it's also about like keeping in touch and having good relationships with the lenders and stuff, like making sure that you can feel comfortable to call a BDM and just say, what's going on with this, like does this still fit the criteria, etc. It's just staying on top of everything. Because
obviously they change quite a lot, obviously with the interest rates going up, obviously.
It's really volatile. Yeah.
And obviously do the lenders change criteria often, or?
Well, I can speak from it as a point of view, like as an advisor, but also when I worked directly with like a bank, like it would change near enough every couple of days when I worked with the bank. So like imagine that times 113.
So would you say obviously it's then really important then to actually speak to a whole of market advisor rather than a bank, because if obviously 100%. Things are changing obviously all the time, you need to be kind of in touch with obviously the best interest rates, etc.
100%. And also I think a lot of the time people would go to a lender thinking it was easier, it wasn't as like stressful as going through an advisor, having all the different options. But when I worked with a bank directly, it was even more complex than working.
What's the negatives of going just to a bank direct? Some people tend to say, well, you know, I bank with them, or it's easier just to go through them.
I think a lot of people feel like they get like special treatment if they bank with a lender and go through them for their mortgage, but it's just not the case. They're not allowed to give special treatment.
Okay.
Unless you have certain like accounts, like HSBC for example will have better interest rate if you have like a Premier account with them, and you get little rewards and stuff. But no, the length of the process as well is a lot longer. From my experience, like a full application would take up to 3 hours to do, and that's not the case here.
What's been your biggest challenge, Charlie? Obviously, you've been in the marketing industry, transferred across, obviously different to real estate. What's been your biggest challenge?
I think, for Wilkins, it's just very sort of intense, next. In my previous role, it was sort of a lot more relaxed and less intense, really. And then I didn't really have that backing there, whereas I do feel like I've got a lot of backing with you and support. So it's like whenever I've got an idea, it's like, go ahead and execute it. It's just trying to stay on top of it all, really, and stay on top of all of the changing algorithms and social media and stuff, and making sure we're still relevant and trying to stay ahead of everyone else in the competition market and around Tamworth and Sutton Coldfield and Nuneaton. Trying to stand out is quite hard as well.
Have you learned, obviously, within the industry, that clients that have taught you anything, any kind of life experience you've had from the job since you've been here?
Yeah, definitely. So, like, after every vendor that you meet, you get different sort of personalities and different expectations and different valuations of houses. So you've got to meet their expectations and sort of adapt your style to their taste. So there's been a lot of people that have gone to their house specifically and done my style and have not sort of agreed with it. And I've just sort of got to be manageable with that and sort of adapt to their taste.
It'll be a bit of a chameleon, I suppose. I think you change your colours and just, like he says, adapt to what they want. I suppose it's a little bit like sales in the sense you try and obviously suss out obviously what a client's expectations are, what they need, they want, and then just obviously adapting your pitch. And it's the same with you, obviously, your approach on the photos.
Charlie, do you think that like working for Wilkins, you've been able to like run with your creative mind a little bit more than previous?
Good question. 100%. I felt trapped before, whereas here I feel like a free phoenix flying.
Free bird.
Yeah, free peacock that's got to let you fly.
Exactly.
The other guys, Mike Wahlberg.
Yeah, exactly.
And he booked his computer away from the floor. Great film. Obviously, right, just speaking about obviously the, I suppose the culture obviously with the business. Danielle, you've obviously only been with us a couple of months.
Yeah.
Charlie only joined September, October, was
September,
it? So obviously you've been here obviously a little bit longer. How have you found obviously the culture here? How's it been different compared to what you've been used to?
I don't want to like blow smoke up your ass, but it's like
Go on, carry on.
It's amazing to work here. It's sometimes when you get out of bed and you just think, oh, I've got to go to work. I've never had that while I've been here. I'm like, I can't wait to go to work.
Even when the little one was not sleeping, and
especially when the little one was sleeping, I
really
can't
wanted to
wait.
get to work.
Why do you think I was in at 7 o'clock?
Yeah,
I'm leaving at
no,
6 o'clock every day. Don't show Alex that. I love working here, to be honest.
Good.
So it's great.
What about you, Dan?
I really enjoy it so far.
You've only been here such a short space of time, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you are going to say...
Yeah, but I do really enjoy it. Like, I don't dread coming to work in the slightest. I love all the people that I work with. I feel like it's a really easy environment to be around because you can just be yourself and be very comfortable. Like, even when like you're in the office or Paul's in the office, like you don't feel on edge.
Yeah.
People feel very comfortable, which is a better environment than others that I've experienced.
What's something about clients that might not know about what you have to do day to day? I think I might know what your answer is, and I'll be honest, I might know what your answer would potentially be. What you do in a day-to-day kind of work that clients wouldn't see from, I suppose from marketing, your perspective, they'll see you just taking pictures, they might not know obviously what goes in the background. It's the same with you, obviously with the mortgages, speaking to lenders, but they might not know what goes in the background. What about you?
So I think a lot of people would just see me with a camera and be like, all right, press the button and that's it, that's done. But we've got editing to do for like normally 3 or 4 properties every day, and then on top of that, got all the videos to edit as well across multiple platforms. Then you've got to optimise it for each platform and do all the social media scheduling, editing and copywriting. So there's a lot of work that goes into it after you've pressed the button, so it's just the tip of the iceberg really.
So, something happened obviously when you first joined. I think it was actually just a trial and error. We'd never obviously, we tried to do this job role with obviously a previous person, obviously but it didn't work out. It was obviously a job role that we'd never done before, and it was just a trial and error, just to run with it and see what happened. So what happened when you first joined here in the first 2-3 weeks? I know everybody was just filling your diary up. So obviously just to give people context on how long it takes you.
When I first joined, I think people like put in like 5 or 6 appointments in my diary, and that would just overwhelm me just because I was thinking like I need to edit it, and there's only a certain amount of hours in the day. I've obviously got a baby at home as well to think about. Yeah, we had to sort of change up my scheduling and my routine really, just so it could fix around myself, and also not sort of jeopardise the quality of the photos and the quality of the content that I'm producing, because I don't want to sort of rush it out, just like old marketing, and then it just be a sort of like half-assed job.
Yeah, it just goes to show that, like he says, I think we limited it down to three houses a day. That just goes to show if it's an hour appointment, 3 hours in your day, the rest of the day was then just pure editing, social media. So that just goes to show obviously what you're doing in the background.
Is there any time that like when you upload on social media like that's optimal?
Because we happen to post out all the time, so it's like 1 in the morning, 1 in midday, 1 at night, really. I used to think that you'd post it later on in the day when everyone's on the phone after work, but I don't really see like an actual optimal day, really. There's sometimes I'll do it right early in the morning, like 9 o'clock on Sunday, gets over 50 likes, whereas when you might post it later on in the day, it only gets 10. So it's sort of, there are no rules with social media, to be honest, it's just a wild west.
Do you prefer Instagram or TikTok?
TikTok, 100%.
Do you?
You get a lot more value, I feel, and a lot more appreciation, I feel, from the algorithms there. Like, for example, the other day I posted the Fairfield in Tamworth on Instagram, and it probably gets around 80 likes. On TikTok it's got 1,000, and it's got 120,000 views.
Which
That's
is huge.
sick.
Which on Instagram's like 5k views. So it's nowhere near the same.
Obviously it's important to utilise both
Exactly.
platforms, surely. Exactly. You, like you says, you're from a vendor's perspective, selling the home, they want to be making sure it's right move, Zoopla, TikTok, Instagram. The aim of the game is to get as many eyes on the property as possible.
Exactly.
What about you, Dan? What do clients don't see in the background of your job?
I reckon they probably think we press a button and then there's a decision there, but we have to speak to obviously all the lender. It's so much more boring than your story, but speaking to like all the lenders.
You enjoy your job, don't you?
Yeah, of course, but like he's
boring.
like taking pictures, flying a drone. I'm like on the phone talking to Halifax. Yeah, like just having to speak to BDMs, making sure things fit with policy, criteria, and also if a decision in principle fails, obviously you've got to then go to the next lender, so it can be quite a lengthy process that I think a lot of people just think it's just a click of the button and then it's there.
And obviously how it works, obviously we will only necessarily take money on an offer, so there's obviously a lot of background work obviously you're doing, especially if you've got a customer that's declined 2-3 times potentially. You've spent how long?
Work, you do all that work, but I feel like it's a good approach though to pay the mortgage, like the broker fee on offer rather than on application. I do think it's a USP here, because I don't think it's very often you'll find that it would be on application.
So just elaborate, to kind of like break it down for people that are first time buyer that doesn't understand the terminology. So just explain the application and the offer, how it works.
You're on a roll.
I'm not fucking flying, man.
Big boy,
Come on, let's go.
Oh my gosh. Someone get them a room.
Oh, come on then. Okay.
I've got the douche, let's go.
Both of you, I suppose, it's obviously interesting to know, obviously, from, I suppose, my perspective, obviously goals for the kind of the year. What is it you've got in your head personally or professionally with the business? Have you got anything in mind that you've been aiming and working towards?
I don't get bogged down in the numbers really, because it's very easy to sort of go, oh, that one's got 100,000 views, like what I mentioned before. And then I'll think, oh, this one that I've gone to today, that's going to get 100,000 views. Post it, only gets 5,000 views, and then I just get down into the dumps really. So I just try not to get bogged down really on the numbers and just sort of focus on just posting a certain amount of content each day and making sure it's high quality each day. That's sort of my only goal really with it all, and just to make sure the standard's always there.
Believe it or not, I literally have goals for pretty much everybody in the business. Do you know what my goal is for you?
Go on then.
My goal for you is, we spoke about this when we first did the interview, I said to you I want you to have your own team underneath you. You've obviously had Jamie come on board now, which has been brilliant. I've said to you when I came back from holiday a couple of weeks ago, I says I'm already speaking now, bringing another member potentially into the team. So my goal is to grow the marketing team into a department. So like you said, you've got 3-4 staff obviously, and I think with the bigger the business is obviously growing, hopefully the more obviously people, so that's been my goal for you.
More nerds. We don't nerd suite.
Dan,
what about you?
I just want to get my feet under the table here. I really want to help the girls hit the target that we've got, so you can take us to Ibiza.
Oh no. Where's my invite?
You're not in financial services.
So yeah, that's kind of my personal goal, especially for like the next couple of months.
I suppose, yeah, just settling in, just like you said,
Yeah,
finding your feet, and obviously
finding my
just
feet.
getting on obviously top of mortgage leads, and obviously you're building your pipeline up.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, last question as well, just to finish off, just so people can kind of get a bit of an idea on obviously the business. What would be one word you'd use to describe Wilkins? You first.
Balanced.
Okay.
Not like work-life balance either.
Okay. Why are you saying that to ride everybody into the
No,
ground?
no. That came across wrong. No, but I mean like balance. Like we work really hard, but then we also know how to have a good time.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Since I've been here, definitely growth, 100%.
Okay.
It's a bit boring.
That's so boring.
It is boring,
That's
but
a good half. That's good.
the numbers are going up, vibes are going up, culture's going up, everything's going up.
Good.
Green arrows.
Green arrows.
Green
That's what we
arrows.
want.
I thought
Right.
they were called the red arrows.
No, that's
I'm thinking of the planes. Carry on, sorry.
Oh, God. And on that note, we have finished.